Cool. So welcome to HIIT, although I would definitely say that this is going to be more of a core and glutes style HIIT than anything else, like very stability. I don't actually think there's any impact whatsoever, so any like jumping in this. So it's going to be a lot of concentrated strength movements. Also, Isabel, you'll need some sort of like book that can stand up. So literally anything. It also should be something that could comfortably rest on your back. Don't freak out. Just, yeah. I'll give you like 10 seconds. All right.
Flash is pissed at me.
All right, perfect. All right, we're gonna start on our back. So you can find your glute bridge position, lower back, press down onto the mat. So really making sure that spine is staying long here. You can even try to squeeze those glutes here. So kind of lifting up the tailbone. Feet are firm into the ground, and then you can put your hands on your hip bones and start to press up with the hips and press down with your hands. So you're building a little bit of tension in your glutes here. So start to feel the glute muscles fire up. The core muscles should also be firing up a bit. Those feet can pretend you're pulling them apart almost. You'll feel a little activation in the quads there as well. This should feel like a pretty stable movement. A little fly. All right, you're gonna heel toe that left foot into the middle, and you're gonna bring that right leg up into a one leg glute bridge, and then you're gonna flex the toe and then unflex. You can't see it, but flex the toe, unflex it, and you can kind of find what feels comfortable. So maybe it feels good straight out from that hip joint. Maybe it feels better pointing straight up. So you're flexing that toe and bringing it back in, pointing and flexing. So just warming up the fascia in your foot. We'll stay for 3, 2, 1. Good. You can bring that right foot down, switch to the left leg, bring it up. Same thing, you're pointing and flexing on this other foot. Also warming up the ankle mobility a little bit. We'll be doing some balance exercises, and it's always good to warm up around the ankle before you really put too much weight on it. 3, 2, 1, bringing that foot back down. This time you're gonna bring that right leg up to just a 90-degree angle, and you can put your right hand kind of in that hip joint as you internally and externally rotate your femur in that hip bone. So that left glute should be very stable here, and you're just internally and externally rotating it. This movement should be coming from your hip joint and not from the knee. So you should feel that hip moving with that right hand, kind of poking into that joint. We're basically oiling up our hips here. 3, 2, 1. All right, you can put that right foot down, left leg up. You're bringing that left hand into your hip joint here, and we're internally and externally rotating. Super normal to have one side that feels super, super good and one side that doesn't. We are not even creatures, so this side feels way better for me than the other side. Good. 3, 2, 1. You can bring that left foot down. We'll bring the hands up and just warm them up here. So kind of that same movement as we did with the feet. You're gonna flex and point the wrist. So pretend that you have a tray and then you're pointing them down towards the floor, flexing them back, pointing them down. And you can kind of spread them wide and see how that feels during the movement, and then relax them and see how that feels. Oftentimes, if you're typing a lot or writing, you don't really move the wrists around. So try to see what it feels like to give them kind of a full circle out and in. And then you can slowly lower those glutes down to the ground. You can hug the knees in for a quick little roll on your sacrum. And we're gonna roll all the way over into our quadruped position. So those hands are right under your shoulders, knees are a little bit in from your hips. You're finding that neutral spine, and I'll turn sideways so you can see me for this part. You're gonna lift up that right leg so it's straight up behind you. Notice that I'm not arching my back here, really trying to keep the glutes even, and we're gonna come back to that windshield wiper position. So we're internally and externally rotating that hip joint here, and the same kind of principles apply, so that pelvis is staying even, your back and core is engaged, internally and externally rotating this hip joint. All right, when you find that last extension, so that knee is pointing out, toes pointing in, you're gonna give me a couple pulses. So really trying to lift that hip almost out of your hip joint here. So we're just lifting a couple inches up, a couple inches back down, warming up those glutes. 3, 2, 1. Good. We'll come to the other side. So same thing, that left leg is coming up to that 90-degree angle. You can always check yourself here for a second, making sure that spine is even, and then we'll come back to that internal and external rotation of that left hip. And that left glute should really be fired up here. It should not be relaxed. Firing up that glute really helps protect your low back, so I want to make sure that you're staying protected there. All right, the next time you find that foot in internal rotation, we're gonna come back to those pulses, so just lifting up a couple inches, and I even have to check in here because I was tilting my hip a lot. Just lifting a couple inches up and back down. Good. For 3, 2, 1, and relax. You can kind of come to whatever seated position feels good here. We're just gonna warm up our shoulders really fast. So start with those arms out wide. So you can have those hands pointing up, and you're just gonna press back with the shoulder blades a little bit. So opening up that chest. It's a really small movement, but just pretending that someone's like lightly pulling your hands back towards the wall. And then you can flip the hands. So now you're pressing the palms to the back, and it should feel a little bit different. This is pulling a little bit more on the biceps than the other one. All right, bringing those hands to the middle, you're gonna open them opposite, so same kind of thing, bring them back to the middle, switch to the opposite. I know this looks kind of silly, but you're trying to get that full extension. And notice at the top of the extension, if you're splaying your ribs, really try to keep them tucked the whole time so that you're not arching the back. So extending those arms open, back together. All right, last time, we'll bring those arms up to cactus, and we're just gonna do some extensions with our shoulders. So nice and slow, so you're coming to about a neutral, and then up. Those elbows are even with your shoulders. Shoulder blades are relaxed down. We'll do 3, 2, 1. All right, you can take it on out. We're gonna get right into it. So today we're gonna be doing combos. So for the first 30 seconds, we'll be doing one exercise. The second 30 seconds will be a different exercise. And then the final 45 seconds will be a combination of both. And we'll be repeating that twice. So the first exercise is going to be a side plank crunch. So you'll be in that side plank, and I'll show you all the different options. So you can do what I'm gonna do, which is a modified version on your knee, and you're sticking up. I'll lift this up a little bit more. All right, you're sticking up that back leg, and you're gonna come into a crunch. So that elbow is gonna come into your knee, crunching that elbow into knee. You're just gonna do one repetition, and then center yourself, place that left hand down, right the left leg down, and you'll flip to the other side. You'll do one crunch in, extend to the middle, coming to that other side. It takes a little bit of balance, crunching one in, come back into the middle. That will be the first exercise. The second one is going to be a tricep push-up. So those hands are close together. Those elbows are hugging in, and you're pushing up and down. So rather than those hands wide for your push-ups, those hands are close in, and you're almost screwing your hands into the ground so those elbows are pushing back. So then your combination, as you may imagine, is one crunch, flip to the middle, one tricep push-up, and then one crunch, back to the middle, one tricep push-up, and then one crunch. Does that make sense? All right, so we're gonna start with those those side plank crunches. So pick a side, any side, and find your position. So of course you can do a side plank here, so doing your crunches fully extended. You can have the feet staggered. You can also do it on your forearm if that feels better. All right, ready, set, go. So you're doing one repetition before you come to the middle, and then you'll rotate to the other side, one crunch. So it's kind of like a side plank rotation, except you're adding in that crunch. Again, you can always modify down onto your knees, crunching, and then coming to the other side and crunching. All right, we have 3 seconds, and then we'll find that middle position. So everyone come to that middle of your tricep push-up. Those elbows are hugging in. Don't worry about going down too far. It can really just be a small movement, finding that neutral spine like we did in the beginning. 15 seconds. Tucking the glutes in here. So in 5 seconds, we're putting this all together. So coming in 3, 2, 1, you're finding that side plank crunch here, coming to the middle, one tricep push-up, coming to the other side, extending, coming to the middle, crunch. It's kind of like a little dance. Crunching, back to the middle, finding that side plank crunch, middle, 15 seconds left. Good, final, 3, 2, 1, 15 seconds of rest. And think here, did that feel too easy, too hard? If you wanna add on, you can always make those side plank rotations a little bit harder. So we'll go through this one more time, starting in 3, 2, 1. So we're just back to that first exercise. So just the side plank rotation with a crunch. And maybe you want to try it on your toes this time for a little bit of a challenge. Wherever you are, you're not rushing these. You're taking them nice and slow. Getting ready for those tricep push-ups in 3, 2, 1. Again, it can just be a couple inches down. Triceps are small muscles, so they're definitely not your strongest of muscles. Good, 15 seconds. Remember, we're screwing those hands into the ground and pushing through the palms. All right, getting ready for that combo in 3, 2, 1. So combining them here for 45 seconds. You can always drop your knees at any point. Nice and controlled. "15 seconds left." Again, finding what works for you here. If you really hate that tricep push-up, you can always skip one every time you go to the other side. 3, 2, 1, relax. Nice, you can shake out those wrists, give your arms a little shake. 1 round down. All right, so going into our next round, you'll need your book or your block or whatever you have, and you're gonna lift it. You're gonna be putting it at the front of your mat or your towel. And one leg is going to be extended to one side of it. It doesn't really theoretically matter right now. And then one leg, you're going to be holding in. You could be holding it here. You could hold it close in. It depends what feels best for you. First exercise is going to be an extension over that block or book. So you're flexing your toe and you're lifting up and over. If that feels way too hard, you can always turn your book lower and just have it be a lower lift. Your second exercise is going to be a table. So you'll have those hands facing forward. You'll squeeze up into a table. You'll extend and extend for that 30 seconds. So you're in that table position, working on the stability of the core and the glutes. So as you may imagine, our combo will be lifting over and back, tucking those feet in, lifting, lifting, and lower. Lifting over, tucking those toes, lift, lift. And then we'll go to the other side for the second time we go through. So you'll just stick on one leg for the over for that whole time. All right, so 30 seconds of that first exercise. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. So lifting that leg up and over here. You're gonna feel a lot of work in that quad, in your hip flexor. You're really trying to keep that spine neutral the whole time. It burns. And try not to slam it down on either side. It's really nice and controlled. Good. 3, 2, 1. We're finding that table position and we'll do extend and lower, extend. And those glutes are really what's holding you up here, not your shoulders. So really try to squeeze the glutes. You can even try to relax the shoulders down a little bit so that they're not overcompensating. All right, we're getting ready for that combo. In 3, 2, 1. So sitting down, you'll extend over once and then back over once, tucking those toes, lifting the hips, extend one, lower. So a lot of extensions here. Tucking the toes, extend, extend, sit, extend over the toe, up, lift, lift, 15 seconds left. Extend over, tuck, lift. Again, take this at your own pace. I'm just saying it so that you remember what we're doing. 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds off. We're switching to the other side. So you can bring that leg to the other side. This side might feel totally different than the other side, but we're doing the same movement just on the other leg this time. 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah, this is my bad side. So 30 seconds, we're just lifting back and forth over your block or book or whatever thing you have conveniently located around you. Flexing that toe in towards you. Nice and controlled. 3, 2, 1. We're coming to that table position, squeezing those glutes up, and we're extending one leg at a time here. Extending forward. So the same principles apply. That core is engaged. You're not compensating that lower back by arching it. The glutes are really the ones firing up here. We're getting ready for that combo. We shall start in 3, 2, 1. So lifting that leg over once, back over once, tucking the toes, lifting, extend, extend. And as always, feel free to take something out that you really like. If you really like the leg lifts and you just want to do those, this is your workout, whatever you want to do here. Halfway. final 10 seconds. Good. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Good. Hopefully the quad's a little fired up now. We're moving on to our next exercise, which actually I'm really excited about. So your first one is going to be a one-leg inchworm. So you'll be at the back of your mat, and you can pick which leg you want to start with, but you will lift up, we'll say your left leg, and you're going to be walking down to a plank. So walking out with just one leg into that plank, and then walking all the way back up on that one leg. Don't worry, everyone has different balance. I do not have great balance. So that's the first exercise. The second exercise is going to be a one-leg push-up, and you can choose which kind of push-up you want to do. So those arms wider, or they can, if you really love tricep push-ups, you can do those again. But we're going to be doing a one-leg push-up, so you can extend one leg behind you if that feels okay, or you can just hover it. You're doing that one leg push-up, or I guess if you can do one leg push-up on your toes, do that. And then your combo will be walking all the way down into that one leg plank. You can drop that knee, come down for your push-up, lift back up, and walk up to the top. All right, so pick which side you want to start with here. We'll start in 3, 2, 1. So you can lift with whatever leg you want to start with, walking out into that plank and just walking back up. So this is what we worked on with that ankle mobility at the beginning. So that ankle has to stay stable in order to really support you here. All right, getting ready for that one leg push-up in 3, 2, 1. So coming down, whether you want to straighten it or just lower it. Again, you can take as many breaks with these push-ups as you want. I know we're probably tired of them already. Nice and stable with the shoulder girdle here, 10 seconds. That knee is still lifted on one side. All right, getting ready for that combo in 3, 2, 1. So you're walking all the way back up to standing on that one leg and combining it all together. So out into that plank, lowering that knee to your push-up and walking all the way up to standing. Whew, halfway. Ugh. Good, final 5 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds off, we'll go to that other side. You may find that one side is easier to balance on than the other. All right, that normal inchworm in 3, 2, 1. Walking out into that plank and walking back up. So depending on the tightness of your hamstrings, this may feel like a futile exercise, but take it nice and slow, bend that knee as much as you need. We'll add on that push-up in 3, 2, 1. So you can hover it, you can extend it, but you're on that one leg here. Good, final 10 seconds. I'm trying different widths. See what I like. All right, 3, 2, 1. Putting it all together for extending all the way up into standing, and then coming all the way down into that push-up. Gotta work on my balance a little bit. All right, halfway here. All right, final 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, relax. Feel free to grab some water, take a breath, take a second. All right, moving on to our next exercise. So your first exercise will be a plank. So actually kind of similar to the bottom of that inchworm. So you'll be in that plank position. We'll say you'll start on your right leg. So you're in that plank and you're lifting up, just bending that right leg, and you're gonna be pulsing here for 30 seconds. Your second exercise will be back into that table position, but this time we're adding on opposite hand, opposite foot for our crab reaches. Don't worry about actually touching. You can kind of just lift them both if that feels better. Same thing applies, those glutes are engaged, extending. So then your combo will be that leg is lifted and you're basically gonna just pivot your hips. You're coming all the way around, lifting and touching and coming back. So all that's really happening is that foot is landing, you're tapping and coming back. So this is some real stability work. I recommend taking it slow, and we'll do it at our own pace. So starting with that one leg plank, you can always take that other plank on your knee. So you would be here instead of here. All right, ready, set, go. So finding whatever plank position and then extending that leg to those pulses behind you. Nice and controlled. Good, 3, 2, 1. You're flipping over into those crab reaches again. Take this at your own pace. You don't actually have to touch if that feels impossible to you. You can always just try to lift them both up. Some will be better than others. All right, getting that combo in 3, 2, 1. We're flipping back over. That right leg is lifted. You're flipping it. Here, that right arm is reaching and touching that left leg and back over into that stable position. Flipping over, right hand, left foot, extend back over. You can do this on your knees, and you'll just do the same movement. Just that knee will touch the ground when you flip. Whew, 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds off. Give those wrists a break. Whew, that was a lot. All right, we're going to that other side. In 3, 2, 1. So that left leg is lifted this time. Little pulses. Again, you can always drop that right knee down if that feels better. All right, getting ready for those crab reaches in 3, 2, 1. You can flip over, whatever position feels good. You can always just hold this table. That's always fine. If you want to add those crab reaches on, just getting a little bit of that balance work added in. All All right, getting ready for that combo in 3, 2, 1. Finding that plank position. Left leg is lifted. You're flipping over the hips, that left hand this time, tapping that right foot, your back into that plank. Flipping over onto that left foot, tapping right hand to right, or left hand to right foot, and back over. Good. 15 seconds left. Again, take this as slow as you need to, and you can always take that reach out if that feels too much. 3, 2, 1. Relax. Nice job. All right, take a quick pull back of those wrists, or you can press it down if that feels better. This next one will not be super wrist heavy. All right, next up is kind of a wonky one, but we're gonna survive. So you'll be on your side here, and your top arm is gonna be wrapped around you. So you can imagine you're like laying all the way down here with that arm wrapped underneath, and then the bottom hand, that shoulder, that hand is gonna be kind of right by that elbow. And then you're gonna use that hand to push you up and then come all the way back down. You're using that hand to push you up. So you're really isolating that tricep here and coming back down. I feel like I'm coming at a weird angle, but I think you kind of generally understand what I mean. You could also just come down to on your elbow and extend back up. It can be a very small movement, so you can just kind of lift up a couple inches and back down. You can also use that bottom hand to help a little bit if you need. Second exercise, you'll have that arm reaching out, and you're going to extend both those legs up into the air and back down. So lifting those legs up and back down. If it feels better, just lift that top leg. You can always do that. So then our combo will then, you'll bend that arm, press up, come back down, extend up, press that arm in, extend up, come down, extend up. And then we'll switch to the other one. All right, so we're starting with our wonky push-ups. I'll give you a bunch of options. So come on your side. This arm can either be on the ground or wrapped underneath you. If you are positive, you can do the push-up part. And then that other arm is kind of parallel here. All right, 3, 2, 1. So you can use that arm to help out a little bit, but you're really trying to put that weight into your palm so that that tricep is doing the work. It's definitely challenging. Nice and controlled here. All right, 3, 2, 1. You're extending that right arm out, and then those legs are lifting, so you can lift both up, or you can just lift that top leg if that feels better. So you're feeling working that oblique as well as your abductor, and then that left hand is controlling with the front. Breathing here. All right, 3, 2, we're bringing that right arm in. It's pressing you up, so back to that push-up position. Extending down, extending out, lifting the legs. Sending that arm in, pressing up on that tricep, pressing down, extending out, and lifting. So you're working all of those little muscles in the back of your arm as well as up into your shoulder joint as well. Extend and lifting those legs. Pressing in, pushing up, slowly pressing down, extend. If something doesn't feel good, feel free to always take it out. All right, 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds off. You can roll onto your other side here. So same idea, if you want that arm underneath, or you can place it on the ground. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, and you may have an arm that is way, kind of looks like I'm breaking my arm, doesn't it? One arm that is less strong. Actually, this arm feels, I guess, not that strong, but. So you're palming and just pressing those couple inches up and back down. All right, coming to those legs in 3, 2, 1, extending that left arm out. You're lifting both legs up. If you want to just lift one leg up, that's fine too. Can't see my clock. Good. 10 seconds left here. Good. 3, 2, 1. You're combining. Left arm goes in. You're pressing up, pressing down, extend, legs lift, arm comes in. You're pressing up, coming down, extend. So it's kind of like a little dance again. Coming in, pressing up, coming down, extending, and lifting. Good, 15 seconds left. So again, edit this however you want. You can just stay with those push-ups. You can always just stay with your leg lifts. 3, 2, 1, relax. All right, that was a weird little wonky one. We have 2 left and then we will be done. So our next combo, second to last, you're gonna start on your stomach and then your knees will be wide. So kind of like you're in a child's pose position, and then those feet are gonna be touching. So you'll be down on your stomach and your feet, your knees will be wide and your feet will be touching. And if it feels better to have those hands next to you, that's fine. I personally like it better with my arms crossed. And you're gonna press down with your hip bones and engage those glutes, and you're gonna lift the legs up a couple inches. You're lifting up a couple inches and back down, and you're really trying to keep this out of your low back. It's super easy to just let the lower back do the work, but this should be mostly in those glutes. That's your first one. Your second one, you're gonna bring those hands underneath you, keep the knees wide, and you're coming into a push-up. I'm sorry, we're doing so many push-ups today, but my legs were just so wrecked, so it's really arm heavy. So you can pick that push-up variation that works best for you, and then coming into that push-up and pressing back up. And then your combo, as you might imagine, is coming down. You can bring those arms in front of you. You're lifting, back down, hands underneath, pressing up, back down, hands underneath. All right, let's do it. So just starting with those extensions. Starting in 3, 2, 1. So those feet can be touching, and then you're just lifting the knees a couple inches up off the ground. Those pelvic points are pointed to the ground, so you're not lifting the pelvis, you're just lifting those knees up a couple inches. This should feel pretty intense in your glutes. All right, 3, 2, 1. Those hands are next to you. You're coming into your push-ups with those knees wide and feet together. And then if this feels really bad because you're on some sort of towel, feel free to modify it with your knees together instead. It can be kind of intense on just the ground. Good, 10 seconds. And you don't have to come all the way down to the ground if that feels impossible. All right, combining then in 3, 2, 1. So we're back into 1 repetition of that first exercise, planting those hands, pressing on up, coming down if you want, bringing those arms together, lifting up and back down, planting the hands, Pressing back up. Halfway here. Remember, nice and controlled. We're not rushing. All right, 3, 2, 1. 15 seconds off. We're doing that one more time. If something felt good, bad, take it out, leave it in, whatever you're feeling. If it feels really intense, you can also like roll your mat over time too. That might make things feel better. All right, back into that first one in 3, 2, 1. So you're getting also some nice hip flexor release here too by really squeezing up with those glutes. So again, you can even try to really squeeze those glutes, and that sometimes helps take the relief out of my low back. All right, 3, 2, 1. We're adding on that push-up. The easier the push-up will be, the wider your hands are because you have more leverage. So if you feel like you're struggling with those push-ups, bring those hands wide and then press up with the hands wide. All right, coming to that combo in 3, 2, 1. Coming down, extending those legs up a couple inches, back down, planting the hands, pushing up, back down. Good, halfway here. All right, final 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, relax. All right, we have our final round, I promise, and it won't be terrible. We're actually gonna be standing for the whole thing, which is a nice change of pace. So our first exercise will be a side lunge. So you'll step that left foot out, sit that hip back into a side lunge. So sitting back and down, stepping in. That's your first exercise. Your second one is going to be an abductor lift. So you can have those hands on your hips and you'll extend that leg out to the side and back in. You're not trying to tilt that whole pelvis. So I like to keep my hands on my pelvis to make sure they're not lifting, toes flexed in. Combo, you'll come in to your side lunge and then back in. And then the second time you come in, you're gonna abduct that leg up a couple inches and back in. If that feels impossible, you can come to that side lunge, stand up, abduct, and then step back to the beginning. That's fine too. So side lunge. If you want to do it from the bottom, you're going to lift that leg a couple inches up and back in, or you can side lunge, come back, side lunge, step in, abduct, and then step back to the beginning. Another option, if you're super flexible, is to come here. You can actually put your hands on the ground and abduct that leg up to the side. I'm not super flexible, but if you can do that, then that's fine too. All right. Let's do it. Last one. Starting in 3, 2, 1. So you're stepping those hips back and down and back in. Both toes are facing forward. The hips are pushing back. Sometimes I like to put my hands in my hip joints and remind my hips to push back here. So you should feel the inner thighs working here. We haven't really touched the adductors too much, so they might feel a little fresh still. All right, 3, 2, 1. We're stepping in for those abductor lifts. If you find that your balance is really bad, you can also hold on to something. That left glute should be fired up here. toe is flexed in towards you. All right, 3, 2, you can step to that starting point. You're doing one side lunge, and then remember your options. You can extend that leg up. You can step in and lift, whatever you're feeling. Just trying to get both of those movements in here, or you can touch the ground, lift from the side, and back in. There's like a million different options. Find out which one works the best for you. Side lunge. I'm kind of doing all of them I'm just trying them all out. So see which one works the best for you. 3, 2, 1, 15 seconds off. We got to do that other leg. So starting on the other side of wherever you are. We shall start in 3, 2, 1. So sitting back and down with this leg. So really making sure that knee isn't going over your toe here. 15 seconds. Those ribs are tucked in, core is braced. It's never about speed. If you want to slow everything down, that's fine. 3, 2, 1. We're coming to an abductor lift on that other side. So flexing that toe in. And you'll notice that if one hip is lifted, you may have much stronger glute on one side. You can kind of see that with me. This side is much stronger. All right, 3, 2, 1. So we're coming into that side lunge. And then if you want to add on this time, a lift. Oh, I guess I'm going this way this time. So coming here, there's my lift. Remember, this is whatever you want it to be, so you can switch it up. Not the most graceful thing I've ever done. All right, final couple seconds. 3, 2, 1, shake it out. All right, we are almost done. We're just gonna do a couple of stretches, so come down to your mat. We're gonna start with a hurdler stretch. This is one of my faves. So legs are kind of in a weird box shape, so one leg's in front, one leg's in back. If this feels super good for you, then you can start to walk forward, but never C curving, that's fine, always keeping it lifted. If this feels hard, like it does for me, you can always stay here. And if you want to add on to this without walking forward, you can always come to some thoracic mobility. It can sometimes pull on some of the hip flexor joints by moving around the spine. Or you can walk forward if that feels better. See what feels best for you. All right, we'll switch to the other side. So that other leg is forward, other leg is back. So this side might feel different. Again, if it feels good, you can start to walk forward. If you want to come to some thoracic mobility, you can just start to turn that spine, or you can just stay here. See what feels best. I also like to kind of explore my hip joint a little bit when I'm in this position. So people don't often feel their bodies very much, but I think it's really helpful to kind of feel around, and you'll realize how awesome the human body is. So like I can feel right here where my connection point is between my glutes and my pelvis. It's pretty cool. All right, you can come to the middle and bring those legs crossed. We'll plant that right hand and lift that left arm over for a nice oblique and side stretch. If it feels okay, you can always walk that hand out. Just try not to splay the ribs. You're still tucking them in here, and those hip bones are staying both on the ground. You can let that neck drop too if that feels good. All right, walk that hand in here. That left hand plants, reaches over. Same thing, you can walk that hand out if that feels good, but you're not just relaxing in this stretch. It should feel like everything is really still keeping you stable. Good, walking back up to the middle. We'll do some big shoulder rolls here. So try to get that full movement of your elbow. So I know it looks kind of silly, but trying to get that full rotation of your deltoid and your shoulder joint. And then we can switch directions. You're coming forward this time. Good, and then we'll finish with how we started, well, with our wrists. So bring those hands out in front of you and kind of flex them back towards your forearms. And this, at least for me, feels kind of uncomfortable. So try to decide whether it's uncomfortable in your forearms or in that line of your wrists. If it's your wrists, then that probably means that you're spending a lot of time with your hands, with your wrists not at neutral. And if it's in your forearms, that means that you're using your fingers a lot and not really, you don't have a lot of mobility in the wrists. So you can come back to that movement of flexing them forward and flexing them back up. It feels good. You can also do this side to side, so like you're flipping over your hands. Especially with quarantine and staying inside, we often find ourselves typing a lot more or writing more. So sometimes it feels good to just move around the joints that we don't usually move around. Anyway, that is it. If you want to stretch more, feel free to, but I want to be respectful that it's almost 5. If you have any questions or thoughts or feelings, let me know. I'm going to stop recording.